Yes, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in this fabulous world on this lovely bank holiday Monday. I'm joined today for a premiere from Stel from Tottenham away. Stel, other than all the abuse, how you doing? You well?
Yeah, it was a nice day. The sun was out. Was able to sit in the garden, have a drink, chill out. Just had a little cheeky barbecue. So yeah, all good, Savva. All good.
Good. I like it. Look, I wanted to do a little video today because in lieu of Tottenham winning 4-0, Bank Holiday Monday, I think it's kind of getting forgotten a little bit that we've got, after today, there's 4 days of the transfer window left.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have a look and say, right, what do we need to do? You know, we've got, 96 hours. Let's assume nothing's going to get done today. I mean, I just can't see it. There's 96 hours, 95 hours. I think it shuts at 11 p.m. And I wanted to see, what have we done? Where are we stronger? You know, because I hear quite a lot that, look, we've got rid of the deadwood and that's a positive. I don't know how much of a positive it can be if you're not actually replacing the numbers, for example. I want to go into that. And then I want to have a look at where are we strongest around the pitch? What do we need in this last 4 days? So still, I'll start off by asking you this. It has been a lot of outgoings this window, a lot on loan. We tend to do this a lot. A lot of players have gone on loan. The likes of Højbjerg, the likes of Brian Hill, the likes of Ashley Phillips, Jamie Donnelly, Valise, Solomon. We've sold a few players as well, and we've only brought in Solanke as a kind of first team senior player, and then 3 or 4 kids. Are we stronger than the squad last year? And as per the title, have we closed the gap? I'm not saying we're going to be level with Liverpool, Arsenal, City. Have we closed the gap, in your opinion, in any way? And if so, how?
I think it's impossible to answer until we play at least 10 games because we've played a team who have just come up, who aren't exactly the best team we're going to play this season. We've played the team who look like they're going to be in a serious relegation fight, and the worst Everton team I've seen come to White Hart Lane.
Agreed.
That's how bad I think they were.
Yeah.
So we don't really know. The next 6 games will be a real test. So Newcastle, Arsenal, Brentford, Man United, West Ham and Brighton. These are the teams that we struggled against last season. These are the teams that cost us doing anything, half decent. So after those games, we'll know. But if I'm just going by what I think, and there's no evidence to back this up, it's just how I feel. Do I think we've closed the gap on the big 3? No, I don't think we've closed the gap, but I don't think we've fallen away. I think we're kind of where we were.
Right.
Are we better? So hard to tell because you still see the vulnerabilities there. As soon as the team puts pressure on us, we look really shaky. I mean, Everton were terrible, but they had a 5-minute period in the second half where they had corner after corner after corner, and we started looking ropey.
Yeah.
They got in behind us once or twice, but they just didn't have anyone able to do anything with it. Whereas Leicester, they maintained that pressure, and we got pulled to pieces at times. So I think the one thing that initially we have improved on is we're definitely creating a lot more chances in big waves.
Right.
We're definitely creating a lot more clear-cut chances as well, but we're not being clinical with them. So I would say I think we're better attacking only off of 2 games, which means nothing.
Yeah.
But defensively, I don't think we're better based off of 2 games.
I appreciate it's really difficult. And the only reason I wouldn't normally have this conversation after 2 games, it'd normally be after 10 games. But obviously with the transfer window shutting in 4 days, look, it is difficult as well. Again, when we're looking at the attacking stats versus defensive stats, it's very difficult. If you had said to me at the beginning of the summer, who do you want to play first? Everton and Leicester would have been within the 3 or 4 teams that I want to kick my season off against to grab what, let's be fair, should be 6 points. So again, after the first game, it doesn't matter, it's only 1 game. Then we beat a really poor Everton. And then obviously, the Spurs fan base is like this, right? We are The Spurs fan base is now all of a sudden it's, oh my God, Ange ball is in full flow. It's in full effect. Look how we battered Everton. We're going to win the league. Fans are ringing up TalkSport saying, be wary of Spurs. We're coming for you. But it is difficult to tell because Everton, as you said, other than that kind of 5-minute flurry of corners, they're not good. I hate to say it, and I think most Everton fans will probably be...
They're terrible. Terrible.
About their season. But if we break down each area... this time last year, Stel, we were sitting there here, and I'm sure me and you did a video of some sorts. But I was sitting here this time last year saying, the window's shutting. We haven't done enough at the back. We'll talk about midfield and forward in a minute, but I'm saying we haven't done enough at the back. And people are going, oh, no, that's all right. You've got Ben Davies and blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting here this time this year still saying, I don't think we've done enough at the back. And Van der Ven and Romero... sure, all the while they're playing together, that's going to be a partnership. You've got Dragoshin, but then your fourth choice centre-back, again, it's Ben Davies, who by trade is a left-back. So for me, what my concern is, 4 competitions this year, if you pick up a couple of first-team injuries, either a Doggy or Van der Ven and Romero, 2 at the same time, you're down to bare bones. You're down to Dragoshin and Davis coming in and then straight away it doesn't look as strong. What do you make about this defensive unit that we've left at the club with Phillips going out on loan?
Yeah, I think if it gets to the stage where we've got several injuries, we can recall Ashley Phillips from his loan. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of compensation we'll pay. So worst case, we could do that. But having said that, I feel we've got good defenders, but not a good defensive system. I was having this debate earlier on where people were saying, what do you think of Van der Ven versus Gabriel, Van der Ven versus this player? And I said, look, Gabriel, all the data last season proves he's better than Van der Ven. Romero and Saliba came ahead of Van der Ven. Okay, not eye test, just stats. But if you look at the eye, you kind of think, hold on, Van der Ven's better, surely.
Yeah.
I think with Van der Ven, Savva, if he was at Real Madrid with Ancelotti, Man City with Pep, even Arsenal with Arteta, I think he's up there. He just shifts 2-3 notches up. But I feel the same about Udogie and Porro. When they were at Lisbon and Udinese, they were better. I mean, Porro's kind of at that level now again, but I feel we've got individual good. They're good, very good. But as a unit, the way we're set up and the way we play, I don't think it brings the best out of them, personally speaking. So it's hard to tell with our defence. But regarding injuries, look, we've got no decent cover at wing back, right? Jed Spence is a punt. We don't know. We just don't know with Jed Spence in the Premier League. So we haven't got proper cover at wing back. We hope Jed Spence is good. People that say Archie Gray right back, sorry, no, I'm not having that.
Not for me.
There's nothing to suggest this guy's ready to play in a wing-back role, especially when he played the whole pre-season as a centre-back. So I don't understand it. And then he went into midfield sometimes. So to suddenly put him right back or left back, we're throwing the guy under a bus. Dragusin, he can come in, but he's no replacement for Van der Ven's pace. And I saw Dragusin for Romania get absolutely roasted playing a high line against Belgium. He got completely didn't stand a chance. Lukaku roasted him, and then De Bruyne did it. And De Bruyne is not like the fastest player, so look, you could say the same for a lot of positions, Savva. There's a lot of positions on the pitch. If we get 1 or 2 injuries, you're looking at a 17 or an 18 or a 19-year-old to come in and carry that position. And I think that's unfair. I think that's an unfair position to put any young player in.
Do you know what? I think you're right. I think when, a lot, I get that football fans are biased, but when I ask the question, like yesterday I asked the question, oh, God, do any of our defenders get into Arsenal's team? And I said, no. I said, look, Arsenal got the best back four in the country. How do you just say, he drops into the best back four in the country? Well, Van Dijk, you would say, he can go in there and do it. Have I seen enough from Romero or Van der Ven consistently to say I think one of them could? I don't know. But then I got thinking, like you said, it's really difficult to judge our players because of the way we play, because of the because of the kind of kamikaze nature, and I don't mean against Everton. Against Everton, we're always going to have all the ball and win easily. But it's really difficult to judge how good are Romero and Van de Ven defensively in a back four where we actually see a back four rather than a back two or a back three. So I find it quite difficult to judge. But just on that point about Dragusin, how long do you think he's going to sit there and be happy with? I know we've got European games and League Cup, whatever, but this is a senior international that plays for his country at centre-half, was wanted by Bayern Munich. And I can't see how he ever gets into this 11 because I don't see that he's ever going to rest Van de Ven or Romero. Do you think there's going to come a point where he's unhappy knowing that his agent is very gobby?
Well, this is where game management needs to come into play, right? So you want to protect your best players as much as you can, right? We're 3-0 up. We've won the game. Everton aren't going to get back in the game.
Yeah.
We've crushed them. We've won the game, 3 points. And there's, 30 minutes to go in the game, 25 minutes to go. Take off Van de Ven. Take off Son. Take off a couple of the good players, the best players. Bring on a Mikey Moore. Bring on a Lancashire. Bring on a Dragusin. Bring them on and give them a rest. Van de Ven plays pretty much the whole game. Well, he played the whole game. So does Romero.
Yeah.
Well, that's your chance to give Dragusin 30 minutes and keep him engaged and keep him ready. Because this is the problem we're going to have. By not giving him minutes, Van de Ven gets injured in 10 games' time. Right, Dragusin, you're on. The guy hasn't played any football.
Yeah.
At least if you get 30 minutes here, 25 minutes here, you're in the groove. You're part of the team. You feel connected to the play. You feel like you're part of the camaraderie. You're not just on the bench like this. And then after kind of 3 months, on you go. You're not in the same mindset. So
it's that sort of situation, isn't it? It's that situation still where suddenly
it was the perfect game to make changes. Perfect.
Well, he'll be thrown into a game in a Europa League game, but he wouldn't have played any football. He'll look a bit rusty, and we'll all go, "Oh, he's not good enough." And it's like, well, hang on, he's got to play. So I agree with you. I think he's got to manage that. But would you be surprised in the next 4 days if we didn't bring in, like Aston Villa apparently are going to bring in Gertruda, who can play right back, left back, or centre back? Would you be surprised if we didn't go and get somebody that can do that? Somebody that can cover both fullback areas and the centre-back area, or at least 2 of those positions?
Savva, I've got no idea what we're going to do. I don't understand this summer window at all. We desperately needed a top striker. Okay, we've got Solanke. Let's just say that's the answer. I'm not going to argue it. Not my choice, but okay. We desperately needed a wide dribbling player experience. We signed Yang.
Werner
comes in January. We signed Odebert. No idea. Very young. We didn't sign that proven established player. We desperately needed a number 6 type player. Didn't do it. We needed cover for the wing back position. Didn't do it. Instead, Spence is there. Let's give him a chance. It's so difficult to understand this window, what we're doing. It just seems by lots of kids and 1 experienced player. Well, that's so what is this then? Is this a 3-4 year project? Because Andrew's only going to be here for 2-3 years. Is this, do we honestly believe this is the answer now? Or are we going to be told, be patient, be patient, be patient? But then each year you're patient. Romero says, listen, I'm not patient. Bye-bye. Van de Ven says, I'm not patient. Bye-bye. Madison says, listen, I came here to win trophies and it's not happening. I was winning trophies at Leicester. See you later. And then now you've got to replenish those positions and you're back to square one. So I don't know, Savva. I have no idea how this transfer window, what the plan is. Because we all thought we were going to go and buy 3 or 4 seasoned pros that would go straight into the first team. Right. That's the Højbjerg position fixed. That's the number 8 fixed. That's the striker. That's the wide player that can play left or right. And that's the left or right back. Did we do any of that? No. Not really.
And look, that's the thing for me. Look, again, it's really difficult when speaking to the fan base. I mean, look, definitely, I know that you get a lot of stick when on X, for example, and what you hear a lot is, oh, look at the positives,
YouTube,
right? Look at the positives. You can't see the bigger picture. The difficulty for me when I hear those sentences said to me, Stel, is I feel like I've been hearing those sentences since I was a teenager myself, right? And now we're not teenagers, and we're nowhere near being teenagers, right? We're further away from being teenagers than not, if that makes sense. And in that time, we've heard time and time again that this is the plan, this is the project, this is the process. And I'm just a little bit like, people can keep telling me, just get in line with it, just enjoy it, but this isn't what was sold to us. And we'll come back to that in a bit. But look, let's move into the midfield. You touched upon it there.
Savva, can I just quickly say, can I just very quickly say something you just said there? When people say be positive, give me something to be positive about that I haven't seen before. Give me something new, something different, and I'll be ultra positive. Until then, I'm going to not be negative. I'm going to challenge what you say, and I'm going to debate or try to debate your opinion, but then you're not able to rebuttal it. So it's kind of, well, hold on. What are you positive about then? So
no, absolutely. Yeah. Look, I'm an evidence person still. You know me. You've known me for years now. I'm an evidence person. If someone tells me, be positive, I'm like, cool. Put some information in front of me that makes me go, yeah. Not, oh, what, more kids? Yeah. More 19. What, he did a step over? Oh, yeah, I'm that guy. But look, let's move into
energetic.
The
He's confident.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I need to see it. Let's move into the midfield. Again, lots of talk about, we've got to get rid of Deadwood in that area. And in the last 2 years, everyone's talked about, look, we've got to get rid of Ndombele. Right, cool. Well, that's happened. We've got to get rid of Skip. Right, that happened. We had to get rid of Winks last year. That happened. Right, we've got to get rid of the Celso. I expect that to happen in the next 4 days, whether it's on loan or not. So you've got rid of all those players. And I'm sitting there thinking, what are we doing in that central midfield area? What are we doing in that area now to go the next level? And like you said there, every fan, every man, woman and dog and cat, everyone said Spurs need 1, if not 2, top centre midfielders. What we've gone and done is got Gray and Bergvall. And again, I want to reiterate, and I think I speak for you as well, I'm not having a pop at Gray or Bergvall. I'm not.
Right? No, not at all.
But they're not what every fan at the beginning of the window said we needed. I think universally we all agreed we need a top midfielder. It hasn't happened. And every game, by the way, still isn't going to be like the Everton game. The Everton game, we were able to play Basuma holding, who's not a holder, and Kulu and Maddison together. You're not going to get away with that against better teams. You're not going to get away with playing 2 attacking midfielders. You're going to have to do something. So what do you see as the best midfield? Have we done enough in that area? And again, have we done enough in that area in terms of maintaining 5th, 6th, whatever? Or have we done enough to say, right, we're going to go 4th and really challenge for 3rd?
Well, first of all, before the season started, we all said the starting team against Leicester would tell us what we want to know. And what did we see? None of our academy players in the squad. Yeah. And the new young kids that everyone says are really, really good, super exciting, brilliant footballers, Bergvall and Gray, neither of them started the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we play Everton at home. The exact same thing happens. So it's clear to me there is no Project Youth with our academy players.
Yeah.
The Mikey Moores, the Lancashires, the Tyrese Halls, the Donnellys, that type of player. Mm-hmm. And the young players we've signed that are so brilliant, they're bench players. Mm-hmm. So what have we actually done there? Not a lot.
No. You're right. It's the same midfield starting. Whether it's Bentancur or Basuma or Sarr, it's the same nucleus.
No change. No change, except there's no Højbjerg Skip to pick. It's Basuma, Sarr, Maddison, Kulu. Those between those 4, 3 of them will always start. That's how it's going to be. If 1 or 2 get injured, and Bentancur, I forgot him. Yeah. So if Bentancur gets injured, okay, in comes Basuma. if Basuma gets injured, now maybe a Gray gets a chance or a Bergvall gets a chance.
Yeah.
So they literally are the second string players. I don't think we've got a great midfield, personally speaking. I don't think it's crap, but I don't think we've got that. Yeah, I don't believe we've got that number 6 hybrid 8, because I think Ange wants to play with a 6/8. I don't think we've got that player. I don't. There's nobody in this team that is at the level of Victor Wanyama, Moussa Dembele, or Christian Eriksen. I'm sorry, they're not. Wanyama was an animal and a brilliant one at it for the role he played. Moussa Dembele is probably the best midfielder, one of the best we've seen at the club in 20 odd years. Possession, strength, skill, keeping the game flowing, playing balls left, right, forward. Just he was colossal for us. And Eriksen, whatever anyone, people might say, oh, but Maddison's a replacement for Eriksen. No, he's not. Eriksen scored goals consistently. He created goals. He could ping a pass and a half. Eriksen actually controlled and dictated a game of football. He had it in him to pull the strings. I've yet to see Maddison dictate a game of football for Spurs. So I don't think we've got midfielders at that level. And that was the best Spurs team we've probably ever had in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, look, I agree with you. I think that obviously when I speak, everyone thinks that if I don't praise a player, it means I think they're shit. And I don't. I think
Maddison's good. I just think Eriksen's better in his prime.
No, I know. But when I look at our midfielders, I think, they're okay. They're good. I don't look at any of them and think, you're the ones to take us on. And again, this weekend, I watched Arsenal v Villa. And Arsenal's midfield is first of all, listen, it's horrible. They're our rivals. But when you look at their midfield three of Partey, Odegaard and Rice, it's perfectly balanced. They're all absolute powerhouses of footballers. You look at Rice and Partey, they are powerful, strong, great engines, good in the tackle. Both can carry the ball forward, both can defend. And then you've got Odegaard, who's like the icing on the cake from a creative standpoint. I then looked at Liverpool, who have got a very different type of midfield. But again, Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister, head and shoulders for me above what we've got. I think consistent, good on the ball, cover the ground, great in the tackle. Then I don't need to talk about cities, right? And then I look to us and I go, I watched Onana for Villa. Again, I'm not saying he's the greatest player I've ever seen, Stel, but again, powerful, athletic, gets up and down that pitch, puts in the tackle. The Villa fans are very happy with his first couple of games in a Villa shirt. I then look at ours and go, well, do they control games? I don't mean against Everton. I mean in games where we are toe-to-toe and it's end-to-end, can we control games? That is my biggest concern, that Ange at no point in his 3 transfer windows now, if I'm not wrong, I don't think he's bought one senior. I'm not talking about Maddison. I'm talking about central midfielders. I don't think he's bought one senior centre mid since he's been at the club.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't.
Yeah, it's Bentancur, Basuma, Sarr.
I think this one divides fans, because I think a lot of fans really believe that we've got a very good midfield.
Yeah.
But then you got to back it up, and you have to say, in the second half against Leicester, our midfield fell apart. Completely got overrun, and the defence didn't know what to do. So, and that's Leicester City. This is why, Savva, I really, really am looking forward to the next 6 games, because I want to see what we do now. Because if we come out of these 6 games, for example, with 3 wins, 2 draws and a loss, or 4 wins, 1 loss and a draw, something like that, I'll start saying, hold on a minute, we need to give Ange some praise here, because
I agree.
This is progression. But if we come out of it with 3 losses, 2 draws and a win, or if we come out of it with 4 points, 6 points, 7 points, I'm going to say, hold on a minute. Yeah. Nothing has changed. Anyway, we can argue it to the cows come home. Nothing has changed. This is exactly what I saw last season. So that's why these 6 games for me, I can't wait, because it's either going to shut me up or it's going to make me even louder.
Yeah, look, absolutely, and I completely agree with you. Look, I think it's a good time to go to Villa. I've got us down for a draw at Villa, by the way, Newcastle. I think it's a good time to play them because their back four, I believe 3 of their back 4 are all out injured. But it's St. James's Park, so we'll see. But look, I want to move to the forward area of the pitch. And again, you look this window, we've brought in Werner. Again, we've brought in Odegaard, 19-year-old kid who's had 1 year in the Premier League, 3 goals and 2 assists, something like that. And we've also brought in Yang, who's going to join us from South Korea. Up front, we've added Solanke, who is another one, like you said just now, that will divide because, again, you've got those that go, oh, my God, he's perfect. He's the best player. He's the best suited player for handball, even though no one mentioned his name all summer still. And then you've got those that will say, well, hang on, he's had 1 good year last year. But again, I'll put it to you. Let's start with Solanke still. What I want to see from him is when playing for Bournemouth don't have to play against 10 men sitting behind the ball. That's the big thing for me. They don't have to play against that. He'll have loads of space to run into. He's got loads of space to go and bully the centre-halves. Yeah, people aren't going to defend in that proverbial low block, right? Yeah. Now at Spurs, he's going to be crowded. He's going to be crowded out. The ball's going to be into his feet. He's going to have to move it quickly. I'm not sure that he's going to be as prolific as he was at Bournemouth because I think this is a very different style of play that unless we're playing the top teams that will give us space, I don't think he's going to have as much room as he needs. Then we're going to see how good he is. I'm not knocking him. Again, before everyone has a go at me, I'm not knocking him. I think he's a good footballer. I just don't know if he's this great player that everyone thinks suits Ange's system brilliantly. What do you make of that signing?
Well, first of all, when people say he suits Ange ball perfectly, no one can actually tell me what Ange ball is. When you ask them, what is Ange ball? There's no explanation. All right. So a top player fits in any system. Okay. Harry Kane played for Gareth Southgate, that dog shit football with England. He plays Bayern Munich under Tuchel, now under who's the chap? Company. Yep. He played under Conte, Mourinho, Poch, Mason. Doesn't matter what manager he plays under, what tactic, what system, he delivered. And he still delivers today. Yeah. That is a top player. So when people say, oh, he's perfect for this book. No. If you're a top player, you fit into any system. Fact. Now, whether you get the best out of the player is different, but a top player is versatile. They can manage it. They can deal with it.
Well, still, just quickly, before you go on that point, just quickly, it's like Haaland. If you drop Erling Haaland into any team in world football right now, I know he's scoring 30 plus goals a season. I don't think it matters whether they play counter-attack, whether they play all-out attack. Erling Haaland's going to bang in goals for fun, right? Sorry, just to
no, 100%. Same with Lewandowski. Put him anywhere. He's gonna score goals. Club, country, you name it.
Yeah,
that's all. Top players can do that. Luka Modric and other. Well, listen, we can go through all the top players and prove it, prove the point. I think with Solanke, I think we've actually got a problem here with Solanke, and I'll tell you. And let me explain this to you. Yeah. Son, for me, is not a left winger anymore. He's not a left-sided forward. He can't do it. Against Leicester, he showed, and Leicester wasn't even a challenge. He showed he's just not that player anymore.
Yeah.
Son is now a number 9. That's his role now. He's a number 9, but he needs space and he needs to run in on goal.
Agreed.
9 times out of 10, he's scoring goals, and he showed it against Everton. Okay, Everton are weak, but he had plenty of space to press, win the ball off Pickford. He made the run. Van der Ven found him. He had space, time, take a touch, steady yourself, buried it. Son is clinical in that role where there's space.
Agreed.
So if we want Son to be a good player for Spurs, and he is the best goal scorer we've got, he's better than Solanke at scoring, then you got to play him in the number 9 role. But here's the problem. We've bought Solanke, who's not versatile across the front 3. Solanke needs to be in the number 9 to get the best out of him. So who do you start there? If you start Solanke, then Son goes left. But now the left side's screwed because Son can't do it anymore. If you play Son in the middle, well, what was the point of signing Solanke for 65 million?
Yeah.
So I think we've got a problem here. I don't think Solanke and Son can play together in the front three. I think we can only, if we play them together as a front two, I think we might be onto something.
Agreed.
Is Ange going to change it to two up top? I bet you he doesn't. So Ange, for me, has created this problem now. And I do think this is a problem. Solanke on his own, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to be that player that we saw at Bournemouth in a low block. There's not many players that can do it in a low block. Top players can. But most players, that they can't. And we're going to see what Solanke's really made of, because most teams, when they play us, will low block us because they know that's the blueprint to beat Spurs. So I agree with you on this one, Savva. I agree with you. It's going to be interesting to see what he does.
Well, when I watched all these videos of people going, oh, he plays here and here's great, and this is, all of the kind of tactical analysis was done from the Spurs system point of view, rather than, okay, well, how has Solanke played and what were the defending like? And I'll say to everybody watching this video right now, go and watch a highlight reel of all of Solanke's 19 Premier League goals last year. See how many of them he had a lot of space. I'm not knocking him. Again, I'm not knocking him. He scored some great goals last year. But a lot of times when he was over the top through on goal with time, when he was one-on-one with a defender, Spurs will not have that as much. Yeah, the defending we saw from Everton, you're not going to get from most teams. Most teams will be better than that. So, listen, I'm not knocking him. I said at the beginning of the season, I think he'll end up with 16, 17 league goals, which for me is, it is what it is for a £65 million striker. But I do make you right still. For me, I think Son is one of the best finishers in the league. But for me, as a left-sided forward, that magic has gone. Those moments of explosion where he got it, went one way, dropped his shoulder, and I don't think that's there regularly. And that's age. I'm not knocking him. That's age.
Do you remember when there was COVID and we played Arsenal in a stadium and about 200 fans were allowed to be in there, and Son picked up the ball in the halfway line, ran up the wing, cut inside, and hit an unbelievable long-range curler into the top corner. That Son, that's the old Son. The modern Son is number 10. You've got to create chances for him in behind with space. If not, he's redundant. He doesn't offer us. But like I said, I still think Son's going to be the top scorer at the club this year. So what do you do with Solanke? Because Son's got to be in that role. He's a better finisher.
Interesting. Because when we talk about Son, I think a lot of people go, oh, he hasn't lost his pace. But I'm always very quick to point out there's a huge difference between pace and then pace with the ball. There's a huge difference between me running in a straight line without a ball and then when I've got the ball running at people. But look, away from Son and Solanke, we've brought in Werner and Odegaard. You've got Johnson, who looks like he's got that kind of right wing nailed down. Do you think that Ange knows what his best two wide men are? And if I was to say to you, our wide men options are Odegaard, Son, Brennan Johnson, and Kulu at a push out there, is that good enough to compete with Liverpool, Arsenal, City? Are these players good enough that they make the bigger clubs go, Spurs are serious?
I don't rate any of our wide players at all, and I genuinely mean this. We had wonderful wide players at this club for many years, and now I don't know what we have accepted, what we've resorted to. Kulusevski for me isn't a wide player. He needs to play central. I think he's better central. Brennan Johnson is a waste of money. It's £50 million down the drain. Play him against Ipswich. Play him against Crystal Palace, play him against Southampton. He'll get goals, he'll get assists. As soon as we play the top 10, he's going to kill us. He's not good enough.
Still, you
say so many ways.
The first two games, right? We said this before the game against Leicester. The first two games, you've got Leicester City and Everton. And I'm thinking to myself, right, Brennan Johnson, these are the first two games. Show us this year that you're different from last year. Show us there's something different about your game. He has looked worse this year than last year. He's playing against Mikalenko, who's an okay fullback. I didn't see him beat him once. Every time he tried to cross the ball, he hit the first man.
He's
The
rubbish.
ball runs under his foot. His passes are sloppy. And all our fan base do is go, oh, but last year he got some good goals and assists. For me, this has got to be pound for pound one of the worst players I've seen in a Spurs shirt. I truly think he's terrible.
For 50 million, it's shocking. He got 15 goals and assists. 80% of them were against awful opposition, low-level opposition, his comfort zone.
Yeah.
20% came against actual teams in the top 10.
Yeah.
He simply didn't deliver at the level that we are as a club want to be at. So I don't rate him either. Then you look at Timo Werner. Some of the worst shooting and goal-scoring stats of any player at Spurs you've ever seen, right? Yeah. It is shocking. And he plays as a forward player. The front three are forwards. We call them wingers. They're not. They're forwards. It's just one's left-sided, one's right-sided, one's more of a central old-school striker. He can't play in that role. He doesn't score. Then you've got Odobert, right? I don't know about Odobert. I'm not judging him. I'm not going to say brilliant, bad. All I'm going to say to you is he played one game, looked lively, looked confident, zero outcome. His crossing, his shooting, finding a player in the box, successful dribbles were all very, very low. But it's his first game. I'm going to give him 10, 15 games, right? I'm not going to allow people to get away with saying magnificent, brilliant, sensational. Based on what? The fact that he was energetic? No.
Do you think that Ange is going to make him a fixture either on that left wing or the right wing? Do you think that Odobert has to play every game? Because when you look at our wingers,
I do. I think he has to.
I don't quite know. He's going to play Solanke. Let's talk about that front three. He's going to play Solanke when fit. He's going to play Son on the left when fit.
That's not going to work though.
So no, I know, but he's going to do it. So are we saying then it's between Odobert and Johnson for that right wing position? Is that what we're saying?
He's going to do it, but then when we're struggling, like we were against Leicester, he's going to pull them all off and say, right, well, you know what? I can't do that. And then if he does it every game, he's going to start getting boos and jeers from the fans. And then is he going to stick to his laurels or say, right, I need to put Son in the middle and now I'm screwed with Solanke? I think this problem, is going... At some point, this problem is going to manifest. I promise you, Savva, because Son and Solanke can't play in a front three. Because Son, for me, out left is not nowhere near the level of what he was. Yeah, and we are wasting Son when he's better in the middle. I think you have to play Odobert simply because I don't rate Brennan Johnson. Kulu, for me, is not a wide player. Werner is just absolutely trash. Odobert, who I'm not rating, but I'm not saying is bad. I'd rather he get 10 games to show us what he can do.
I agree.
And win himself a starting place every week. We've given Johnson a whole season. We've given Werner half a season and a new contract again. Kulu's had 3 years. For me, just start Odobert. This guy deserves 10 games. Just to prove what he's got.
No,
because everyone else has been given a chance. They're not doing it. So I would start
agree.
him.
For me, a player like Odobert, again, not his fault. He's young. For me, Odobert, should be coming in and should be an understudy for a top winger. But it looks like we've bought him, and already our fans have christened that he's going to be the main man. I feel sorry for him because he's under pressure immediately already. But look, in summary, when we go through that team, I think a lot of people always think, Savva Stel, you're really negative. I haven't changed my mind from last season. I think we're a 5th, 6th, 7th place team. The reason why I said I think we finish 7th, depending on transfers in the next 4 days, is purely down to the fact that we're playing 2 games a week instead of 1. And I think our squad is actually a lot lighter. I think we're talking about getting rid of Deadwood. I think without replacing it with any senior pros, I think it's a very light squad now. And what I mean by that is this. The only 2 senior pros that weren't fit for Saturday, the only 2 that missed out in the squad was Bentancur with the concussion and Solanke with the injury. Right?
Yeah.
So you add those 2 to that squad. That's it. That's the squad. That's the 22 players. assuming that Reggie and Lo Celso go.
Yeah.
So then that means anything after those 22 players is Lancashire, Moore, Hull, assuming that none of those go out on loan. I think it's quite a threadbare squad, actually, still. I know that people will go, we've got loads of depth in kids, but I think when you're getting into November, December and deeper into the Europa and maybe the FA Cup or the League Cup this side of the year, and you start to pick up, you've got 5 players injured, 6 players injured at once rather than 2. I think we're going to really struggle for experience and numbers. I don't know how you feel about it, but 4 competitions this year, and we've got a squad of 22, and so many of them are like 18 and 19. So I think that's going to bite us on the backside. I'm just putting it out there now.
I think we finish anywhere between 4th and 10th, right? Because if everyone stays fit, the squad rotation's on point, our opposition, our rivals get a fair few injuries, I think we can snatch 4th. However, if nothing's really changed and it's the same old, then you're looking at 6th or 7th because we're playing in Europe. If Europe, playing 2 games a week, really impacts us like we fear it might do, you're looking at 8th, 9th, 10th because you're going to pick up loads of injuries. And where last season we got injuries and we had a week to figure out what we're going to do for the next game. Well, now you've got 2 or 3 days because now you've got Europe, now you've got the Carabao Cup, now you've got the FA Cup.
Yeah.
You don't have that time to think about it and work on it and give Emerson Round, Ben Davies time to work together in training for a week, ready for a game. Okay, those 2 aren't at the club, but you get my point. You're going to put 2 makeshift players in that haven't played all season. They're not going to have a week to prepare. They're going to have 2 days. So honestly, Savva, anywhere between 4th and 10th is where I think we'll finish. And good luck to anyone who predicts what we're going to do this year because we just haven't played nowhere near enough games to know. It's impossible.
This may sound like a get-out clause, but what I've said is, I think 7th. Would I be surprised if we finish 5th? I think if, like you said, I think if everything goes right, no.
Yeah.
Would I be surprised if we finish 7th? No. 6th? No. What I will be surprised of, and what I will sit here and say now is, if Ange, clip this, whoever wants to, if Ange gets top 4 with this squad, I think he's had a phenomenal season. I just don't think there's enough seniority.
Absolutely.
Straight away, still, imagine we lose Bentancur and Basuma at the same time. So far, in the first 2 games, we've missed one of them. We've missed one of them in each game. Now, all of a sudden, say that you missed both of them for 5, 6, 7 games. Your most experienced central midfielder at the football club is Papa Sarr. Right. So do you know what I mean? That's where we're at for me. And that's why I've said all summer, and everyone was having a go at me. Fine, bring in Bergvall. You've already paid 10 million euros. You bought in Bergvall. For me, that next midfielder that we bought in for 30, 40 million needed to be somebody with experience. I just didn't think we needed Gray this year. And again, nothing against Gray. Nothing about give him time, U8 youth. None of that. I'm just saying that 30, 40 million could have gone and bought a Matt O'Reilly, like Celtic have bought for 25, 26 million pounds, right? That could have bought a Matt Vifa, who Brighton have just bought, right? So for me, I just don't think that we've been sensible. But in 3 years' time, when we win the league, like I'm being told, I'm going to be in the mud. So still, I am going to leave it there. Just quickly, thank you for joining. You're live tonight, 8:30. Is that correct? Tottenham away?
Yes, 8:30 tonight, and I think you're on the show as well.
I'll be joining for definitely an hour for sure. Guys, girls, please get over to Stel at 8:30 for Tottenham away. And as I believe the title of his show has said, what's the title of the show?
The real test starts now.
The real test starts now. Guys, girls, let us know your thoughts. Hopefully people have actually listened to what we've said rather than just coming out with your negative, you hate Spurs. I just feel we've missed, I'll say the last thing I'll say, Stel. I feel we've missed a real trick when strengthening from a position of strength should have been what we've done. But I don't think we have again. I think, again, we've got to a relative position of strength and then gone, let's buy kids. For me, I think that's going to be our downfall.
If I was to ask you, Would you rather we spend £30 million on Gray and £30 million on Odobert, or spend that money and buy Eze? What would you do, and what would most fans want?
Mate, listen, anybody, if you asked anybody at the beginning of the season, they would all say Eze. The problem is now, most will say, oh, Odobert and Greg's in 3 years, they're amazing. And oh, Eze hasn't scored in 2 games for Palace this season anyway. Look, again, if Spurs, I'll just say this, I know we've gone over the time, but if Spurs were a serious football club in the last 4 days of this window, for me, we'd be looking at getting someone like Brennan Johnson out, whether that's on a loan or whatever, and bringing in a top footballer for me, whether that's a central midfielder, whether that's a wide man. If we were a big club with big ambitions, that is what we would be doing. And I can already see what people are going to say. Oh, Liverpool haven't signed anyone. Yeah, watch Liverpool play and tell me that they have to sign too much. Stel, you're a legend. Thank you so much. I'll see you on your show tonight. Everybody, please please subscribe to Football Heritage TV. Please subscribe to Tottenham Away. And as always, come on, you Spurs.